As we all know, NVIDIA's RTX 4070 is rumored to release this coming Thursday, April 13th, with benchmarks coming Wednesday, April 12th. Now, before just a few days ago, the RTX 4070 wasn't even confirmed until NVIDIA accidentally leaked it while going over their latency reduction technologies increase in Counter-Strike 2. Hey guys, Dom here and welcome back. Today we will be discussing the RTX 4070 and what we already know, or at least what we think we know. Starting with this report from video cards, the leaks were actually confirmed by a report from GPU-Z. The data confirms that the RTX 4070 made by Zotac will have 5,888 CUDA cores, 184 texture units, and 64 raster units. That said, not only would RTX 4070 have fewer ROPs than the RTX 4070 Ti, which has 80, but also a smaller L2 cache, 48 MB versus 36 MB. NVIDIA's RTX 4070 memory specs are now confirmed to be 12 GB of GDDR6X across a 192-bit memory bus. The clock speed is 1313 MHz, which translates into 21 GB effective speed multiplied by 16. Here's the validation from GPU-Z. Card name 4070 submitted on April 6th. And here we have memory type of GDDR6X, memory size of 12,288 megabytes, which translates into 12.28 gigabytes, and the bandwidth is 504.2 gigabytes per second with a bus of 192 bits. 5,888 CUDA cores, a memory clock speed of 1313 MHz or 1.3 GHz, a GPU boost of 2.5 GHz, and a GPU clock of 1.9 GHz. Here we can compare the RTX 4070 to both the 4070 Ti and the older 3070 and 3070 Ti's. So if we compare the L2 cache of all three, you can see that it is about 12 megabytes less than the 4070 Ti, but that does leave it at a significant increase over the 3070 and the 3070 Ti from 36 megabytes to, or from 4 megabytes to 36 megabytes, with a 32 megabyte increase in L2 cache. Compared to the CUDA cores, we have quite a bit less, 1,792 to be exact. But this is actually, interestingly enough, the same exact amount of CUDA cores as the 3070 has had. And it is about 250-ish less than the 3070 Ti. The TMUs of the 4070 Ti is 240, while the 4070 non-Ti is only at 184, which once again is the same as the 3070 and about 8 less than the 3070 Ti. The ROPs coming in at 80 for the 4070 Ti and 64 for the 4070 non-Ti leaves a 16 difference, and actually, interestingly enough, there is 96 of them for the 3070 Ti and the 3070. So for the 4070 Ti and 4070, we have a decrease in both. For the ray tracing cores, we have 60 for the 4070 Ti, whereas we only have 46 for the 4070. 46 is the same amount of ray tracing cores that we had in the 3070, but it is 2 less than we had in the 3070 Ti. As you can see, the base clock is actually quite a bit higher than both the 3070 Ti and the 3070, but it is about 400 megahertz behind the 4070 Ti, and then the boost clock is about 150 megahertz behind and still quite a bit more than the 3070 Ti and 3070. Or we have 40 teraflops in the 4070 Ti and only 29 in the 4070, but this 29 still beats out both the 3070 Ti and the 3070 by a bit. For the memory, we have the exact same as the 4070 Ti, coming in at 12 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory, while for the 3070 Ti and 3070 we only had 8 gigabytes of GDDR6X and 6 respectively for the 3070 Ti and the 3070. Now the interesting thing is that this memory comes with a smaller memory bus, coming in at only 192 bits for both the 4070 Ti and 4070, while both the 3070 Ti and 3070 had a bus of 256 bits. Now that being said, the memory speed for both the 4070 Ti and 4070 are 21 gigabytes, while it is 19 for the 3070 Ti and 14 for the 3070. The memory bandwidth, once again the exact same for both the 4070 Ti and 4070, coming in at 504 gigabytes per second, while 608 for the 3070 Ti and 448 for the 3070. Now the very interesting thing is actually the power draw. So this for the 4070 Ti is is up to 285 watts, which is 5 watts less than the 3070 Ti, but for the 4070 non-Ti, we're only seeing 200 watts, while the 3070 was 220 watts. Now the sad part is, well, of course, the prices have raised, so now the 4070 is the same MSRP as the 3070 Ti was when it launched. Next, in another report from video cards, we can see some of the MSI 4070 non-Ti models have been leaked. Last Thursday, April 6th, Gigabyte leaked that they are also splitting their 4070s into two groups, a group with the 8-pin power connector and the second group to feature a modern 16-pin design. The 8 MSI RTX 4070 models are as follows: the MSI RTX 4070 Supreme X 12GB, the MSI RTX 4070 Supreme 12GB, the MSI RTX 4070 Gaming X Trio 12GB, the MSI RTX 4070 Gaming Trio 12GB, the MSI RTX 4070 Ventus 3X 12GB overclocked, MSI RTX 4070 Ventus 3X 12GB regular, and then the MSI RTX 4070 Ventus 2X 12GB overclocked and not overclocked. Now, currently, we only have pictures of the Ventus 3X and the Gaming X Trio, which are right here. Now, taking a look at the Gaming X Trio, we can see it is, of course, the, Trio, aka triple fan design for our 4070, and it looks just similar to previous MSI models. While the Ventus 3X also has the 3 fans, it looks similar to previous models. Here is the Gaming X Trio from the side, as well as the Ventus 3X from the side, and the backplate for the Gaming X Trio, and the regular Ventus 3X. Finally, let's just quickly mention the accidental confirmation from NVIDIA that this card exists with their latency reduction slide that we got a couple of days ago. This card was used for NVIDIA Reflex demo in Counter-Strike 2. The game now confirmed to support this technology, and as pointed out by The Verge, will enable Reflex in 9 out of 10 most competitive shooters. Now, if we take a look at the slide here, as you can see here, with Reflex on, we can see up to 35% latency reduction. Now, for the GTX 1060, a much older card, the latency reduces all the way from 26 milliseconds down to 17 milliseconds. The 3060, a lower increase from 16 to 11, so still dropping by 5 milliseconds. And then finally for the 4070, it's 10 milliseconds to 8 milliseconds. Now you will notice something pretty interesting here. They're comparing the 60 series of cards to the 4070 for some reason. It's not exactly clear why they are doing this, but that is something to just keep in mind, and maybe it'll make sense in the future. Anyways, these latency tests are apparently using the 1440p max settings with an i9 12900K on the pre-release version of Counter-Strike 2. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video. Links to all of these video cards reports will be linked in the description if you'd like to read the full articles. Please remember to sub if you found this interesting, as it helps me out a ton. Also drop a like and leave a comment on what you want to see from me next, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video.